Afghanistan, in theory, should remember the villages burned by the Russians, the relatives who were shot, the cities that were torn apart. But for some reason, Afghanistan thinks that today everything will be different. But it should be said that Russia's own enticement is also working very strongly. Because if you imagine what it looks like, it's like this. A sticker advertisement like this one: lonely Russia, a nation yearning for connection, wants to meet for shared leisure activities and geopolitical orgies. A lasting marriage is certainly possible. And stickers like this, with this kind of text, have been plastered by Putin's regime in every dictatorial den around the world, from Burundi to Myanmar and, of course, in Afghanistan. And all the savages of the world immediately started dreaming of becoming related to the country of Dostoevsky and Putin, primping themselves and inventing all sorts of fancy state titles. And so this Taliban gang decided to call themselves the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan. Of course, the whole world does not recognize these thugs. And Russia immediately opened its arms to them and was the only country in the world to recognize this gang as a state. Moreover, now the Taliban flag flies openly and officially over their embassy in Moscow. And of course, Moscow feels absolutely no disgust whatsoever toward these brutal beheaders, these violent stone throwers of innocent women. Truly, well, it just doesn't, it's understandable vomit shouldn't wrinkle its nose at feces. Because, yes, the regimes are remarkably similar in many ways. But of course, Russia still has things to learn from the Taliban. And the investigative committee and the FSB will learn during interrogations. They'll be able to cut off not just ears, but fingers too, with pocket knives. Of course, the Russian priests have become quite cheerful about all this. These pot-bellied men are daydreaming, looking at the Taliban's ways when it comes to matters of faith. After all, in Afghanistan, atheism is indeed punishable by hanging. And all the women have been subdued, deprived of education, forbidden to work, wrapped in black scarves, and are generally afraid to make a sound. And this is exactly what the Russian Orthodox Church would like to do in Russia. So the Russian Orthodox Church understands that it just needs to soak up even more influence and finally drive all these foolish Russian women into a kind of patriarchal reality, ripping off their manicures and eyelashes on the spot, boarding up sinful beauty salons with plants. Listen, there's nothing fantastical about what I'm saying. This is the trajectory of any religion that gains power. All religions that have power behave identically, regardless of denominational differences. By the way, here's another excellent strategic partner for Russia, Burundi. In fact, just the other day, a mob there killed 6 people accused of witchcraft. 2 of them were burned alive. And it was the youth wing of the ruling party that did this. So it's kind of like a young Russia, which the UN and, let's say, reasonable people consider a paramilitary organization. There, people were accused of witchcraft, subjected to mob justice, and indeed burned alive. So these are the kinds of practices that are just the way they like it in Russia. Could have been an excellent partner for Russia.